So there you are, sitting in your office on a Tuesday afternoon. Everything seems fine. The Slack channels are humming, the coffee machine is working, and your best employee, let's call him David, just finished a massive project 3 days early. David is the guy who catches the errors no one else sees. He's the one who stays 20 minutes late without being asked just to make sure the client is happy. You think to yourself, thank God for David. If I had 5 more of him, I'd be on a beach in Fiji. Then there's a knock on the door. David walks in, looks at his shoes, and says the words that every founder dreads. "Do you have a minute? I think I'm going to move on." Your heart sinks. You immediately offer him a 10% raise. You offer him a better title. You tell him how much he means to the company. But David just shakes his head. He's already signed an offer somewhere else. You spend the next 3 months trying to replace him, only to realize that it takes 3 people to do what he did alone. You're frustrated, you're exhausted, and you're asking yourself the same question every failing manager asks. Why did he leave? We're a great company. Here is the brutal truth that most founders are too proud to admit. Your best employees don't leave for a better paycheck. They leave because they're tired of being the only ones in the building who care as much as you do. They leave because you've built a job instead of a mission, and they leave because you've accidentally created a culture that punishes excellence. I've studied the turnover rates of hundreds of companies, and the pattern is always the same. It isn't a mystery, it's a math problem. If you don't fix these 5 psychological leaks, you will continue to be a training camp for your competitors, and you will never build a business that can run without you. The first reason your best people are walking out the door is what I call the high performers tax. This is the most common sin in small business. When David finishes his work early, what is his reward? Is it a half day off? Is it a bonus? No, his reward is the work that the B players didn't finish. Because you trust David, you give him the hardest clients. Because he's efficient, you give him more tasks. Over time, David realizes that the prize for being the best employee is being the most overworked employee. He looks over at the person next to him who does the bare minimum and realizes you're paying them the same amount for half the stress. You are effectively taxing his talent to subsidize the mediocrity of the rest of the team. A players don't mind working hard, but they hate being taken for granted. If the only thing they get for going the extra mile is another mile added to their journey, they will eventually find a new road. This leads to the second leak, the growth ceiling. High performers are like sharks. They have to keep moving forward or they die. They aren't looking for safety or job security. They're looking for impact. If David looks at his calendar for the next 2 years and sees the exact same tasks he did this morning, he's already gone. He just hasn't told you yet. Most founders are so focused on getting the work done that they forget to build a future for the people doing it. If there isn't a clear path for David to become a leader, a partner, or a master of a new skill, he will go to the company that promises him a mountain to climb. You have to realize that your best employees aren't just working for you, they're working for the version of themselves they want to become. If your business doesn't facilitate that transformation, you are just a temporary stop on their way to somewhere better. If you're watching this and realizing that you're currently drowning in the daily doing because you're terrified of losing the Davids of your world, or worse, because you're doing the work they used to do, you need to stop the cycle. Most businesses don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack the systems to keep it. If you want to start fixing your business today so you can stop being a firefighter and start being a founder, we've put together a free checklist. It only takes 15 minutes to go through, but it's designed to save you 10+ hours a week by showing you exactly where your operations are leaking. You can grab that at the link in the description below. The third reason your best people are leaving is invisible friction. High performers hate stupid. They hate redundant meetings. They hate software that doesn't work. They hate having to ask 3 different people for permission to buy a $100 tool that will save them 10 hours of work. For you, as the founder, these are just growing pains. For David, these are the daily insults that make his job miserable. Every time you require a signature for a trivial decision, you are telling David, "I don't trust your judgment."
A players crave autonomy. They want to be given a destination and the keys to the car. If you're sitting in the passenger seat trying to grab the steering wheel every time they hit a turn, they're going to pull over and let you drive alone. Micromanagement is the ultimate high-performer repellent. It's a signal that you've built a business based on control rather than competence. The fourth leak is the lack of the why. We talk about this a lot on this channel, but it's because it's the only thing that actually works. Most people think culture is about ping pong tables and free snacks. It isn't. Culture is the shared understanding of why we're doing this in the first place. Your best employees want to feel like they're part of a winning team that's solving a real problem. If the only why in your company is so the founder can buy a second home, David is going to lose interest. He needs to see the impact of his work on the end customer. He needs to hear the stories of how the product changed someone's life. If you don't connect the daily grind to a larger meaning, the work just becomes tasks, and tasks are easy to find anywhere. You have to be the chief reminding officer. You have to constantly point to the horizon and say, that's where we're going, and here's why it matters that you are the one driving us there. The final reason is the most human, the feedback void. Most managers only talk to their best employees when something goes wrong. Because David is so reliable, you ignore him. You spend all your time in performance reviews with the bottom 10%, trying to get them to just do their jobs. Meanwhile, David is sitting in the corner, crushing his goals and wondering if anyone even notices. He doesn't just want praise, he wants calibration. He wants to know exactly what he needs to do to get to the next level. If the only feedback David gets is a great job, keep it up once a quarter, he'll feel like a ghost in your machine. You have to have the stay interview. You have to sit David down and ask, what is the one thing I could change about this business that would make this the best job you've ever had? Then be quiet and listen. His answer is the blueprint for your future success. I'll see you in the course.